Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to yet another episode. Today we are joined by Shubhananda Devi Dasi, or Anoopa. She's going to introduce herself further, and she's going to start by telling us her story and why she's in yellow, as we can see. So welcome, Anoopa.
Thank you. First of all, I'll start with our prayers.
Yes.
Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. Okay, so I'll start with my journey. My spiritual name is Shubhananda Devi Dasi. Shubha means auspicious and Ananda means bliss. And Dasi means servant of the Lord. So, and my real name, birth name is Anoopa. And you see me like this now, but which is this yellow attire, when you take that, it is, we are called Brahmacharini or Brahmacharinis. And so I became a Brahmacharini with the grace of my Guru, Sri Swami Vishwananda. But to get to this stage, it's a long journey. I was born and brought up in Kenya and lived in Nairobi, educated in Nairobi. Education, the primary school basically was during colonial times. And so they would set the school curriculum. And although I was born in a Jain family, we were told stories of Krishna, Ramayana, Mahavatar, things like that. And Jainism, there was hardly any knowledge at that time because unfortunately the Jain monks were not allowed to cross the oceans to come over and give us Jain knowledge. So whatever knowledge I gathered from home was my aunt bringing books, stories, monthly magazines, and so we would read those. So we had like knowledge of everything, a bit of knowledge of Jainism, a bit of knowledge of Hinduism.
So Jainism and Hinduism are different?
Some things are very similar, like we have Mahalakshmi, we have Ganesh, we believe in meditation, japa, chanting, so there is rosary, but the mantras are different, and the goal is towards moksha or self-realization.
Self-realization.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's closer to Buddhism?
Yeah, it is very close to Buddhism, and this is because long time back, ancient times, like people had lost the true knowledge of Hinduism, and the priests had all the hold over the kings and the king's ministry, and so anything you wanted to do, you have to go to the priest. Then Buddhism and Jainism came about to bring this change, like all lies within you. And so the path was more about working on yourself and, realizing who you are.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, I was inclined. I was really, really like interested in what is this meditation they're talking about. And as a child, I was like always also wondering, is this life? Like you just get born and then you eat and you go to school and perhaps you will get married and then you have children and then you die. There must be some purpose to this life. How can we just go on doing this for, every lifetime after lifetime? Because of course we believe in theory of karma. So I understood, like next time also I'll come do the same thing. I was just, always wondering. And so there was a deep kind of longing that there must be something more in life than this. So as I was growing up, my aunt introduced us to Gayatri Mantra. Again, that's Hinduism, but I found it very sweet. I would repeat it. I would fast during the Navratris and do 108 rosaries of the Gayatri Mantra, because it's a very, very powerful mantra. It's a Surya or sun mantra. So like you pray for the power of the sun, and sun is intelligence as well, light. So for many years, and that led me to the yagnas, the fire sacrifice, and I would in my teenage days or Sunday mornings attend these fire ceremonies, the yagnas, the Gayatri.
And that's Hindu, it's not Jain.
Yeah, that's Hinduism. Yeah.
And your family was relaxed about you going into
Because
Hinduism?
my family was very modern in that sense that nobody kind of stopped you from whatever you are doing, as long as you have good values, as long as you know your background, like so yeah. And then even stories of Bal Ramayana, means books for children, so those were brought, so we had all had to go through those books as well, and yeah. So when I was about 18, finally one day I hear a Jain monk has broken all the rules of Jainism and he's coming to Nairobi. So I said, oh my God, what I want to know from him is, how do you meditate, and all the questions that were there. So when he came, and his command of English was very good, and so it was easy to understand whatever he was saying. He came with his own books and how to go about life. So when I was about 18, this is the first time I learned about the chakra system, the bij mantras of each chakra, and I seriously started doing whatever that was there in his books, and I bought all his books. But can you imagine the coincidence? At the same time, I got this book called Yogi Kathamrut. In English, it means autobiography of a yogi. And
wow.
I was like, oh my God, I was in love with that book. And I would read it, and I would keep it next to me when I went to sleep. And this, Yogananda and Mahavatar Babaji and all the stories. And so I kept on reading it. It was my aunt's. I borrowed it, and I told her, please, can I have this book? So she told me, well, you can keep it as long as you want, but then one day I will ask for it back again. So I said, okay. So she took it from me after a little while. And somehow I found the English version, autobiography of a yogi. So I
around
read,
18 still?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When I was still 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that really began my search. And even in school, I would find myself that at home, I'm reading these books, autobiographies of saints or the stories of saints. That was what was available in the home. So I would find it very odd that why these girls are reading love stories, and why are they doing giggling, kiki, and they meet a boyfriend. But I was like, I wasn't charmed by these things. And I kept on reading these books, and then
did they find you odd? Were you like a black sheep of your family or amongst your friends? Did people find you odd?
They did, but they accepted me the way I was. It was not like they kind of put me aside and went away to movies, or I was included in everything. But of course, they accepted that I was a bit spiritually inclined. When I came into uni, that time a lot of these kathakars, means storytellers, started coming to Nairobi, which was rare. But all of a sudden, the world was opening, and so I'd heard about them. And during those days, there was none of this YouTube or you could watch them live. So I would finish and then go for these things, and mostly they're for 7 days. So if somebody is talking on the Ramayana, it's for 7 days.
And this is which age? 60s, 70s?
This was when I was 19, 20.
Which age? Which
in
period?
The 70s.
Wow.
In the 70s.
There's no, I can see why you guys had to wait for people to come from India to come and teach.
Yeah.
There was no other way.
Yeah. So it was so joyous, and when they're talking about these stories, oh, Sita is going to marry Ram today, so be here. And you'll dress up as if you're going for a wedding, and you feel the energy, and like when the sad parts came, everybody was crying, and it was like nice, so that's how I had the background of it. But still, I can see now where I am. Like, it was just giving us the introduction to these stories, but how we can relate it to ourselves, I learned it much later on, how we should behave and all that. That time it's nice. It's like watching a video for 7 days, a live program. But, as you mature, you realize how you can apply this knowledge to your daily life,
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
That you it's so interesting because I've been watching the Ramayana in my own spiritual journey, and we're going to get back to yours. When I started we follow the same guru. So when I started following my guru, the first thing that came to me on my YouTube feed was Mahabharata and Ramayana. And I knew about Ramayana in the 90s, courtesy of my family, my father and mother. They used to watch it. It was on TV.
Yes.
So I was like, I guess I was too young to understand. Let me just watch it again. And that's how I started understanding Hinduism personally. But what I find is interesting is how it was different when you listen to it in the 70s vis-a-vis now that I'm watching it on YouTube. The emotion is completely different. It's the same. I can still feel sad and happy and all that, but I feel like yours was more palpable. Then obviously we have to move on to how does that apply to our lives, and I get that. I just wanted to mention that. It's so interesting.
Obviously, when you are in a sangha and listening to something, so the energy is different.
For sure.
Because if there is something where you clap, like Hanuman came and all that, and the whole crowd claps, and it's kind of is a different energy.
I can imagine.
And then watching alone in your home on a YouTube. And like people will dress up, and like it's just those days were like you're focused there. You just focus because you just go home and sleep. With the whole morning, whole afternoon, you are there. In between, you are provided food. So it's like 7 days of they call it sapta. So sapta means 7. So there is just celebration and stuff. Yeah, and so that led me to like doing a lot of chanting Gayatri mantras. Later on, like I would read a lot, and then whatever was available. So that's the time when slowly this new age stuff started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into a lot of modalities of the new age, like Reiki, Melchizedek method, lots and lots, and I became master of a lot of them, and I was teaching, and it was joyous to find making the consciousness of people changing when I was teaching all that. So for quite some time I left my whatever, I was self-employed, and I left it because I felt that I'm needed somewhere else, not at work. I mean, my work is with people. So I started teaching these modalities. It was making a difference in their lives, when they were practicing these things, because Melchizedek method is they take the best out of old religions and then they combine it and apply it. And so there was a lot on the Kundalini energy, a lot on the mandalas, knowledge from Mayan, from Egypt. So like it was nice. It was making some kind of a difference in the consciousness of people. Consciousness really expanded, I would say. And but then a time came, like I was just still again looking for something. In the meantime, before I started teaching, I was also in search of gurus. I went to many institutions. I would enjoy them. Felt good. But again, after a little while, I'm looking for something. And I don't know what. There was something like that was not striking my soul. Anyway, I was teaching these things, and one day, like my parents went to UK and they told me about Visham, which is my present day guru. He's now called Sri Swami Vishwananda. That's the picture, you know. Anyway, so when I heard about him, I said, yeah, you know, parents are always visiting these saints and whatnot, and sometimes I've gone along with them and met and seen many of these saintly people. So then I heard he's coming to Nairobi. And then my cousin from London is telling me, look, he's coming. I mean, your parents have already met him through me, and you have to see him. You have to see him. So I said, yeah, okay. And then when he was about to come, I got a phone call from somebody who knows him and said he would like to see you. So I said, I went. But when I saw him, it was like something started stirring in my heart. It was very obvious that I have met this soul before, and I was restless. I wanted to cry, whatever, you know. And when I went to see him again, also I asked him, "What is it? Although you are a stranger, but my heart says I know you, and I've got a guru, and yet I want to bow down to you. What is this?" That was like my heart, my soul recognizing this is my guru.
Wait, so you had a guru. So you mentioned that you were searching for something.
Yeah.
And you were feeling restless, and you have done all these modalities, but nothing is landing. So you had a guru before you met Visham. From the Jain?
No, it was from another Shiva tradition.
Shiva.
Om Namah
Wow,
Shivaya. Yeah.
You have been everywhere.
So that's where I learned the Guru Gita. And I was attracted there because I thought, oh my God, this is such a sweet chanting. So, you know, without knowing the meanings, of course, knowing a little bit of Gujarati, Hindi, Sanskrit, I would understand what's going on. But I loved the chant. I loved Guru Gita, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So even I met a few who said, your guru is yet to come, you know. So I was just thinking, why are they saying this, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some masters that you wanted. So you approached them to be your guru, and then they told you
I
that?
didn't approach them, but it's like, you know, like they would say, just have patience, your guru is yet to come. So I would just wonder, now here in Kenya, where am I going to meet my guru, you know?
Yeah.
But how guru makes his way to the disciple. Yeah. And it was like there was no turning back after I met him, is because all this searching, all these new age methods, whatever, it gave a better understanding, it opened up the consciousness. But what happened internally, that stirring in the heart, whatever, I had never experienced that ever with any guru. So it was like, no, this is it. And then, you know, that time he was also in his teenager when I met. I was in my 40s, he was 18. Yeah. So I would just, you know, we would say, I know, you are my guru. And then he said, yeah, you'll have to wait. You see, I'm still young. So he was traveling, gathering his disciples. So slowly, that's how the journey started, you know. And like he was teaching small things like how do the japa, do this, listen to the stories. And then how, you know, slowly, he has moved the people from sadhana to scriptures to knowledge, and how it's a big academy now. And how he has taken very slowly his disciples into this journey. So even like, let me tell you the experience, even like being with him, like I had never experienced this kind of love. I had never experienced this kind of ecstasy, you know. So like I can vouch for it that no matter what you learn, what you do, the grace of the guru is needed. No matter what I did, you know, all these methods and learning and whatnot, and going overseas to do these courses, coming back teaching. But that inner stirring, that inner opening, only the grace of the Guru can do it.
How did you know to look for a guru? What is it about a guru that you knew I need a guru to be able to continue on my path, to be able to farm all these things? Make a case for one, for having a guru.
Is there in Autobiography of a Yogi, how important is a guru? And then I was also getting attracted to Mahavatar Babaji, and there was this thing like, but you live in the Himalayas. So I was still young. And I have this feeling I have something to do with these masters, but how on earth would I get to India? And at that time, living was very ordinary. You wouldn't think of traveling how we travel these days. So, like, I don't think I can even travel and find this. But can you imagine? There I meet Guruji, and then a few years later, I come to know he's teaching Kriya Yoga of Mahavatar Babaji, and I got the chance to do that, and it was like, this is all that I was looking for, like, and like I seriously do my Kriya, and like I got the chance, and I should not leave it aside by just learning it and putting it aside. Yeah, and there was more meaning to my spirituality, I would say.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that you feel you are a very spiritual kid, and you are connected to all these masters, like Mahavatar Babaji, the big saint. And finally he came to you from the Himalayas, right into your house by meeting Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And so he gave you Kriya Yoga. We have our own Kriya Yoga. It's called Atma Kriya Yoga.
Kriya Yoga.
Do you mind explaining a bit about that, Atma Kriya Yoga?
It is Bhakti Yoga, but it's done through sadhana, and there's the cleansing of the chakras and the kundalini, and all the rubbish we have to take out from our system so that we can move forward in our spiritual path. Yeah. So unless and until you take up the course, I can't say more details, but there is breathing technique, there's a few yoga exercises, and how to clear all the 7 chakra system, and all that has been described in other yoga systems. They are there plus extra.
Is there anything that it has done for you specifically that you have seen?
Yeah. I mean, life, you go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of storms. But I think the Kriya Yoga and the Shakti of the Guru gives you the strength to go through all this. I feel it made my very strong inner strength.
It's now that you say it that I'm like, I think that's what has happened for me.
Yeah.
Becoming very strong inside.
Yeah.
To be able to handle things.
Yeah. Like I can tell you, there was a lot of this, a wrong thinking by society. No, don't speak up. You are a female. You just go along with things in your marriage, or a woman should behave like this. So like when you do all these things, like, no, I think my parents were wrong. I don't think in this day and age a woman should be submissive, and it gives you the strength to fight. Although sometimes you think, I look very timid, but I went through and I kind of passed my test, I would say. Like, it was stubborn. No, I will continue with my spirituality.
Did you face opposition? I know I faced opposition when I started on my path. Did you face any opposition?
A lot.
How was that?
A lot of it, unimaginable. But it was like my heart wanted just what it wanted to do. So sometimes, we have this struggle between the mind and the heart. Sometimes you want to be submissive to what people want, but then I think the heart wins. This is what I feel, because if you listen to your heart, it will just open up paths for you. Yeah.
That's true, because I remember mine was exactly. I'm so grateful that you're talking like this, because it's giving me like reflection for my own self. When I first met Guruji, we call him Guruji. When I first met him, I felt the exact same thing you said, the star in my heart. In fact, before then, I was feeling empty, and I tried looking into other religions as well, because Christianity wasn't bad, but it wasn't giving me all the answers I had, and I didn't know about a guru. That's why I was asking you, make a case for a guru. I didn't know what a guru was. I didn't know I needed one. And then what I know is I asked God for help, as like, there's something missing here and I need you to help me. And what I need specifically is for you to come closer to me. Come home. Come. I feel like you're far away and I need you to come closer. So that's how I ended up meeting Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And when I met him, I felt this soul, this, not even soul, the heart stirring. It's like it's new. It's like my heart it can sense there's something here. There's something to follow here. And then there's also a love that grew, that I had never felt. I had felt it before, but not in this lifetime, if that even makes sense. Like, I know this feeling, and it's a lot of love. And wherever this love is where I want to stay. That's how I stayed. So when you say about the heart and the mind, I can tell you my mind first was in turmoil, because it didn't understand what's Hinduism. Why am I going to Hinduism? That makes no sense. I'm African. And it was also fighting the heart, like this is delusion, you're not grounded, it doesn't make sense, go to what makes sense. The second one was opposition from my own family and friends, basically everyone, because what do you mean Hindu? And I still face that even today, like, how are you Hindu and you're African? So there were all these people telling me not to follow this Guruji. Why are you bowing down to a human? And all that. So when you say that fight between the heart and the mind, I totally get it. And it's when you say that Atma Kriya Yoga gives you strength, is when I guess you're right, because increasingly I've been having a lot of strength to fight off, or even to not just fight, to just let people be. And it's like, if you guys have a problem, it's fine. I know what I want and this works for me. Yeah, so I don't know whether that brings up something for you.
Yeah, because, and even like, they won't accept you. We are living in a very materialistic society, and people will think, oh, she's a fool spending 3 hours of chanting and doing her sadhana. Just enjoy life, do your spirituality, 15 minutes, and that's it. That's how people think. So like you have to move away from that kind of a situation, and you need a lot of strength. No, I want to walk this path. And doesn't matter if they want to just enjoy, fly here, fly there, all that. I don't fit in that, and I accept that I don't fit in that kind of a society. So it's like my choice. They can think behind my back whatever they want to. It's fine.
Yeah.
Except in some, you have to be wise also, where you're going to, people are going to react and what not, and you're just a bit tactful, and you don't start blabbing your spirituality where you are there, and you don't make it obvious, and you have to bring a balance as well. Yeah.
We digress. I want you to go back to now, when you finally meet this 17-year-old, and he's your guru, but he says there's time. You have to wait a bit because he's young. So take us from there.
Yeah, so I waited. Things open up. Through internet, I started coming to know what's going on. He's already now started teaching. I could do courses, get the books available. And by the way, one of the books is the Bhagavad Gita. This is the edition, Bhagavad Gita. Let me tell you a story. Bhagavad Gita, if anybody tries to read on their own, like I made several attempts. I could never finish it, although it's a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. It applies to us. And you know how he takes us from like the realization, you are not just this body and mind. First you are the Atma, you are a soul first, before you come into this material world as mind and body. So yeah, and how to think that, how he talks about the theory of karma. So I think in Christianity also it is there, like you reap what you sow. So that's where the theory of reincarnation comes with us. Like you go on and go on, coming back, till until you kind of realize that this is no point, coming back. Because, for example, if you did something wrong to somebody in your previous life, he will be born as your brother, sister, whom you won't get along at all in this life. Okay? And you just wonder, I don't know, no matter what I do, I'm just going through that. And then you will retaliate, and so the next birth you will again, till you sort it out. And so here, the Gita gives us the solutions. How do you sort it out? First of all, how you have to be, perform your duty, don't be attached to the fruits. If you have desires, obviously you're going to get hurt if something doesn't happen according to your desires. There's so much teaching there, and there is, so you begin to say, oh, yeah, or like, say I have an incident with somebody who is just always reacting when they see my face. So you can just say, yeah, I think this person has some kind of a blockage with me, could be from the past life. You just observe and let it pass instead of boxing the other person back, So you learn a lot from there. Then how, he slowly tells us the next stage, like you sit down, meditate, watch your breath. So, even a lay person going through the Gita, they will get all the answers from there. And in the end, how he says, surrender to the Lord. And this, many times it happens. When you are stuck in a situation whereby it's not your fault, you just surrender, and somehow, how he says, your brain is limited, but God's brain is not limited. If you surrender, a way will come out. So there are many incidences. I'm sure even you have gone through that. If you can give us one example where he comes in and sorts things out for you, the Lord.
The Lord has done a lot. Oh my God, I can't remember over time. I was thinking how funny the mind is, because that's something else that's mentioned by Krishna in the Gita, that the mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And I honestly feel like right now my mind is working as my enemy, because I can't remember something that the Lord has done. And I was thinking about this the other day, just 2 days ago, how come we are still doubtful of God? The Lord has done so many things for us, but for some reason the mind will still ask you to doubt. The mind will still refuse you to surrender. And even now when you ask that question, somehow the mind doesn't remember all the things God has done for me, and there are many. But for some reason it's conveniently going to forget it, and now show me proof, you see, God left you, so let's try to do it our way, let's not surrender. So I guess that's actually something that is important to note about the mind. And I will tell you, if I remember, my mind allows me to remember, but that's something important to know about when Krishna says in chapter 6 that we need to calm our minds and control our minds. This is why it is such instances, because our minds are the ones that just put us into shit.
Yeah, the mind prevents you to get in touch with the heart, because there is this ego, and the ego thinks it knows it all, and like the heart is a bigger faculty, but we are always blocked from there because of our education or our society. We've been thinking like all the time, when people say, use your logic, nobody says use your heart, So we go by, the sheep.
Yeah.
We follow the sheep, and then all of a sudden the Guru comes, he changes your way of thinking. He says, focus on your heart. And I think 1,000 times he says that, yet there are times when you slip back to your mind. But
like
you have to, and you have to keep, reminding yourself, the heart, because even like when you feel, like when we are talking now and we are talking about the Guru, I can feel the heart expanding, and
me too.
because the Guru he always says, I am Prem. Prem means love. but he's always explaining, not the love that the people think that today you marry, tomorrow you leave. No, but this prem is permanent, and only the Lord and the Guru can give that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh yeah, and there was one more question you asked me. Why are you wearing the yellow clothes?
Yes.
So yeah, we were all along, like, knowing the Guru for so many years. He had patience to, like, let me go through what I had to go through. And I think when the time was right, he said, now surrender and like become a brahmacharini. And I said, no, now if he has suggested there's something in this, I should I should listen to him and not even take time to think about it. Because if this opportunity goes, then it's gone forever.
What is the significance of being a brahmacharini?
That's one of the indications that, yes, now you have made up your mind that you want to walk this path. It's like when you want to be in the periphery, or when you want to sit on the fence, it's like, okay, tomorrow if I change, I can give up this path and go somewhere else. But this is now an indication that you are now dedicated, you want to serve the Lord. Anyway, I've reached the age where, Indians, they have the 4 stages of life. And I've reached that stage where it says vanaprastha, means you go towards the forest. Like, you give up all attachment to the world, to everything. So, yeah, this is the first step, actually. After that,
sannyas. Yeah. Should we all become monks? Because you're saying, because what someone might understand is, for me to be committed to God, to look like I'm committed to God, I must be wearing yellow.
No.
So
it's not necessary. It's not necessary, because
how
like say some people have a family, yet they are walking the spiritual path, so they cannot just abandon the family and just go away, And the other thing is, like, how people think that if you take up these robes, it means you have to go and live in an ashram, which is not true. You can be where you are, and continue with your spirituality. Yeah. And like how I'm helping our community here, and I don't have to leave home or run away somewhere. Yeah.
That's true. So basically you can continue living your life, but this shows some level of commitment to the path. That's what you mean?
Yeah. So it is like a lot of things, like you don't have to run somewhere because everybody is going for this big lunch. It's like, no, I can sit at home and I can do my prayers. I don't have to do this. A lot of changes do come, and automatically, you start giving up a lot of things. Like, say, this is just a theoretical example. Like, every week you must go to the cinema, and then, like, those kind of things drop. It's fine. If I can go once in a while, it's fine. If I can't go, it's fine. It's no longer that life that you are living before. And there's no regret because you've lived it, you have repeatedly done those things, and it's time to leave that and find a change in your life.
Yeah. You mentioned the 4 stages of life, because why I'm also doing this is because I want the people who are listening to not think that this isn't for me. And I'm going to, and Guruji says this a lot, I'm waiting until later, then I will start following God. So I'm trying to make a practical case for someone like me, a 30-year-old person or a 20-year-old person, to start following a path without necessarily having to wear these clothes. How practical is it? Because we've seen a lot of people trying to go into the spiritual path. A lot of people, religion is not working, the traditional religion, and they're looking for more. What can you advise such a person?
First of all, this is not my choice. It's the Guru who decides, Okay? So with his blessing, there is a special initiation he gives you. And when he sees that so-and-so is ready, he will suggest. There is no force here. He will say it's time. You can you can become a brahmacharini or brahmachari. So it's not like, oh, I want to become a brahmachari, and you walk up to the guru and say, the guru will see, are you ready? You may think in your mind that you are ready. Oh, this is the only path I want. And then I've seen many, they have that enthusiasm. 3 years down the line, they just give up the yellow clothes, they give up, they disappear in the world. So it's better that he chooses, because he knows us better than we know ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So that means for a young person, what would you advise them as they go forward in life? Practically, like, I still feel like I have my sister. I hope she will not watch this. But my sister, I usually see her, and you know this. She wants to be a young girl. She wants to do the things young people do. But you'll see her sometimes coming with me to the temple. She will want to do puja. She does puja in the house. That balance, how can you advise someone to have that balance? You, especially, having experienced life before this, how can you advise a young person, or even me, advise me to be able to balance? Because I want God, yes, but I also want, I don't know if I guess I still want God. I don't know, how can I put it? Do you understand my predicament?
I do. Let me answer your question. How? But it's what I see is the roots. Our roots were totally different. There was more emphasis on academics. Spirituality was not even given any importance. So you'll see, like, even the teenagers, when they grow up, they don't know what to do. It was just a general trend to go to pubs or this, all these things, because there was nothing to replace. But I feel, and I'm so glad that Guruji wants females. How he's including females in the puja, whereas the traditional Indians don't allow females to touch the deities, but Guruji is opening up. So if the children see the mother doing it, the children would automatically get those samskaras. They will do it. For example, I see children now where they are growing up with parents who are doing these things. They want to do the puja, they want to do, put the clothes on the deities, and then they want to listen to these stories of these traditional stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, say Shirdi Sai Baba, one of the saints, so they take interest. So if they have the background, it's fine. You have to live the life and you have to earn money, you go, but the spirituality has gives you a balance, and you don't find these kids, they don't know what to do. Sometimes rich parents give them a lot of money, they're just spending money ruthlessly, they have no clue how that money was earned, whatever. So I think if these things come into your life early, that's good. Even if they come a bit late, you should give it some importance and make it part of your life. So, like, there's always old religions talk about Trinity. So, we are always feeding our mind and body. The third part, the spirit, we are not doing anything about it. That's why the whole world is topsy-turvy, kind of, there is no balance. People will replace it with other things, but not spirituality. So, I think that's how history, if you look at history, time and time after, people have forgotten, people have gone into other ways. Like I gave you an example earlier on, like how everything fell in the hands of the priest, and the priest, or like today's priests, like, bring 20,000 and I'll do your prayers. Bring this and bring that and I will. And then, the whole reform had to happen. God had to come and take avatars of Buddha and Mahavir and show them that you have at least that much inner, so you can walk this old path without having priests. So those religions came about like go within, and you will see, like you don't need these priests and to do these things for you, because they were it was a total diversion from the main Vedas and whatever. Yeah, so that was the emphasis, and so they were not emphasizing on Vedas and stuff. But anyway, going back to the situation, so I feel that these avatars like Swami Vishwananda, they have come to bring reform again, how where people are lost. So he's come, and so he's making a lot of adjustments to the old systems as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he says, if you don't start at an early age, are you going to do it when you are just about to die? You will never remember the name of God. You will remember who is looking after my office, which child is looking after my office.
Then you have to come back.
Yeah, you have
and
to
do
come
it
back.
all over again.
Yeah.
I guess that's my motivation to do this. It's because I don't want to come back.
But what is your experience? Like you had your academic education, you went out to look for a job, you were working, and before spirituality and after spirituality, how even you can compare?
You know what's funny? As a young kid as well, like you said, I noticed that I was very spiritually inclined. And it's so funny, I used to say this term people use, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, from before I even heard about it. Even before I came to Nairobi, I used to say it because it's just something that was just not resonating for me with religion and the way it was just, the way it was. So I just always used to say that phrase. Then I came and heard it from someone and I was like, this is so interesting. So I was a kid who was spiritually inclined, and I always just had this relationship with God deep down in my heart. See how now we are taught that God is in your heart? I already knew that. I just used to know that. Much as he was, yes, out there in heaven, but I knew him in my heart and I used to converse. So that relationship for me has been there since when I was a young person. But now, talking to you, I realized as I grew up in this society, which is so separated from God, I started believing in the society. Of course, what was I supposed to do? So I started feeling the distance between me and God. I forgot that he was in my heart, and I started feeling him out there, which now brings me back full circle to God, please, I need you to come closer, which is now how I got my guru. But I just did what everyone does. I went to school, I studied law, I practiced a bit, and then I started feeling, at some point in time, I started feeling just unfulfilled by life, but then also spiritually, like the Trinity that you're talking about, I was just feeling empty. That was what it was. And I was doing everything materially, and I was earning good money, but I was just so empty. And I don't even think I was looking for God per se, because I still had God. I was just looking for something. I think what I was looking for was love. Because when I met Swami Parantapa, and then now soon to meet my guru, now Guruji, I felt the love I talked about. And when I felt that love, that's when it clicked for me, that this is what I've been looking for this whole time. Exactly. I was looking for love.
Talking about that love, you just can't talk. It's just that experience.
Yeah.
Is that experience you can't talk about, but this is it. This is what I was looking for.
Yeah. Love, and I think it's the prem that you were saying.
Yes.
It's divine love, and it's so pure and pristine.
Yeah. Which only Guru can give you. Even you can't give me, and I can't give it to you.
No, I can't.
Only a Guru can give you.
Yeah, so that's how, I don't know if I've digressed from the question you were asking about now, just going on in life as what we were supposed to. But then I'm actually so grateful that I left the normal path, the beaten path, and I just dropped out of the path and now started searching, and that's how I found my guru, and that's how I'm here now. Yeah. So and thinking about it, there's a way the mind or the society can show you you're doing things that everyone else is not doing. You're boring. Yeah, you're boring. But thank God for Guruji, because one, I like that spirituality is not boring. At least our path is not boring. We have festivals where we go and sing, which is something I love. The Just Love Festival, literally. We are able to serve God. Like you said, the women are allowed to serve the deity. I cannot imagine myself not serving
Mm.
the deity. I can't. Like,
Mm.
I will fight someone if someone stops me, because that has brought me so close to God. I love the relationship I have with the deity, which will bring me to the next question. People in Hinduism, people are repelled by Hinduism because they think, one, we bow down to a human, and the second one, we worship idols. So I want you to clarify that.
Yeah, it's like physically, you see that people see you're bowing down to a human being. So the logic mind comes in. What's there? These people are foolish. They're just going to bow down to him. But they have not experienced what you and me have experienced.
Yeah.
When you're in the vicinity of a guru, it was like you can't explain what happened to your heart to people. They will just say she's hallucinating, she's just giving us stories. You have to experience that.
That's true.
To know that, oh God, it's not the physical, it's that great energy that's in front of you, and you automatically want to bow down to that energy, not to that physical being. You recognize that huge, energy that even if you don't want to, you just go like that.
Do you know, even
Yeah.
when I'm in prayers, like
Yeah.
alone in my house, or even now,
Yeah.
and I imagine that essence that you're talking about, I have caught myself so many times just bowing. Like when I imagine, let's say, the feet of my guru or something, I bow, and I've caught myself, like, my mind is like, wait, why are you bowing? Like, you're bowing to nothing. You're just, why are you bowing? But it's because of the soul gets that I'm in contact with the essence. That's the essence I'm
That's
bowing
the essence,
to.
yes. Yeah, and there's so much talk about energy and whatnot. But have you experienced the supreme most energy? Because most people look at, they're still in their logic mind. They can only see, what's the use of bowing down there? And you see, this education has been missing. That is why people are thinking from their logic. And even, who educates children at home? Schools and our society will give you outside education, but who will give you this knowledge? If the females are not allowed, then who else will give these sanskaras to the children?
Interesting.
Yeah. So, like, if a woman knows the correct knowledge, and how to pray, how to meditate, they can teach the children the third aspect, which is missing, which is spirituality in our lives. So most of us, like, grow up with like your mind, body, pass and get the best job. Right now you got the best job, buy the house, buy the cars, buy this, buy that, and then you are finished. By the time you are 50, 60, ready to enjoy, you are in hospital with some illness. Because you didn't do your yoga, you didn't do your breathing, and like you didn't chant, whatever. You didn't do anything for the peace of mind.
And I think and then you'll talk about bowing down to idols, worshipping idols. But I want to say that's why I also think, as a life coach, a mental wellness person, practitioner, I see now why there's a lot of rise in mental wellness or mental health cases. Because we are off. We are off, by the way.
Yeah, you see now, these things, the kind of food we have been eating, fast foods, ready-mades, allopathic medicine. Most people still, like, if anything happens, they run to the doctor. Whereas, olden times, I grew up where people were still going to UK to become doctors, and also we were basically supported by the Ayurvedic system. So we had all the remedies in the kitchen. And now you see, people are realizing how much they have been cheated with this, pharma industries. And they're going back to a lot of these traditional things. I'm sure within the African community also, you're going back to your herbs, your medicine.
Yeah.
A lot of people I talk to, like, who have been grown in this modern world, and I ask them, about the moon cycles or this medicine, He said, we don't know. But I remember grandma doing something. I said, no, your grandma was wise. She knew exactly, what to do. And this Western medicine, all the Western style of living has uprooted from your roots. It has uprooted people from the roots.
Lost knowledge.
Yeah.
Krishna was talking about it in the Gita, telling Arjuna that this knowledge was lost. And I just thought it was just the Gita, and now I realize there's so much knowledge that we
Yes,
lost.
Every time you read it, you're getting a different understanding. It's live because it's Krishna who spoke these words. So it's not an ancient knowledge that was spoken 5,000 years ago.
For those people,
Yeah.
it's for us.
It's alive. It's alive.
Interesting. So make a case for why we worship idols.
Well, we human beings are used to limitations. Our mind is limited. Our body is limited. So to make it, what do you call it? If you had to imagine and worship something, if you had to worship something that has no form, no nothing, how? But this is interesting, because you make them like human beings. And then it's so easy to picturize Krishna. It's so easy to picturize Radha. And if you had, so that is the meaning behind it. That if we have a form, and we are so used to thinking that everything has a form, so it's nice to imagine your God with a nice form, beautiful clothes, beautiful jewelry. You go and feed them like that's my child. Let me give them food. So it makes it more interesting, and you can connect to those deities better than if you are told, okay, connect to God, and then you just go where, what, who,
Yeah.
So this is one way of, and like just the way everybody's brains work different, everybody's different, and everybody wants different things. So here are deities, which, like they say, whichever form you like. Just connect to the deity. So some like Hanuman, and they will connect like that. Some like the goddesses, they will connect like that, because they are more, they like the feminine, the motherly goddess more than the masculine one. So there's so much choice.
Yeah.
That what your heart settles for, like yeah. And then there are so many stories that if you worship something with faith, even a stone turns into alive. And there's a story, there's a guy who was given a stone and told him, yeah, this is a shaligram, go.
Yeah.
And then he was with faith, he didn't even know what was shaligram. But then Krishna actually manifests for him.
Even Shiva.
Yeah,
There's a couple that
yeah.
went and took us because they had seen it. That story is interesting. So there was a band of monks that passed through their home, and then they were worshipping the Shivling, the Shiva Linga, and then they saw the sheep. So after the people went, because they said for 2 days, they were like, that's so fascinating. They went to the forest. The man went to the forest and saw a stone that looked like it wasn't the Shivling, of course. And they actually started worshipping, and they didn't know anything. They didn't have the knowledge, so they started worshipping how they saw. They were putting leaves. I think it was just any leaves. They were just putting whatever leaves. They were putting water, just pouring water. And it was so sweet. I don't know, I get emotional because it's so sweet how God is so sweet. He's like, I see your heart. I see where your heart is.
Yes.
And I'm going to come because of your heart, not because you're doing anything, right? So finally Shiva and Shiva appeared to him and granted him whatever it is he wanted. And it was only because of the heart. And honestly, the reason why I love God, my relationship with God right now, is because that connection is there right now, because I'm sure he's able to see my heart. And I don't need anyone to go through, like, to I don't need a mediator to judge whether I am honest or I am vulnerable or I am. God can see, and he can see my sincerity, and we have a relationship. That's what has really changed for me, and I love that.
I mean, God understands the human mentality, and when we are given this stone or a deity, it's like we have something to anchor onto.
Yeah.
So whenever we just go back to our anchor, and like we don't stray like an unanchored ship every time. So the form helps.
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
Yeah, and most people just don't understand. And anyway, you can see the whole knowledge system is changing through internet. People are getting more knowledge of things. Otherwise, I would look at you separate. You will look at me as a separate, like, oh, that's Hinduism. I don't know. They believe in some paganism, whatever, And that was what was brainwashed to the whole world.
Yeah.
So we have to undo those things now. How do you compare this new age stuff and our traditional path?
My view of that is, I appreciate the new age. I'm one of those people who appreciate I appreciate change, I appreciate transformation and transition. And since we've seen that for the last 5,000 plus years, there have been different transitions from Sanatana Dharma, which is the actual name for Hinduism, to Buddhism, to Jainism, to Islam, Christianity. I feel like we are going back now. So I appreciate New Age because it feels like people are grasping at the truth. That's how I see it. So there's a little yoga here, a little meditation here, a little breathing here, all that. And people understanding energy here, people understanding that they don't need to, the rules that we were brought up believing are no longer not all of them are the truth anyway. I can't discard all of them, but some were just brainwashing us. So I feel like New Age is just a bridge. And the reason why I'm actually doing this podcast is to help people to appreciate where they are at. But the reason why I am Hindu and not just New Age, and I think I passed there for like 2 minutes, I'm Hindu because ultimately we still need something grounded, something that has structure, something that has framework. And for me, it's not a mistake that as at now Hinduism is the oldest religion, and it encompasses all the knowledge that is in New Age, is in most of these other religions. Just keep finding everything goes back to the scriptures, the Vedas, and all that. So I feel good about being a Hindu because ultimately I feel like most New Agers will ultimately end up in Sanatana Dharma because it's the eternal religion, it's the eternal truth, which is the whole point of what we are doing is looking for truth. So that's how I look at it. What's your take?
When you're talking, something just crossed my mind. You talked to India, has the knowledge. It's true. There was a very, very high advanced knowledge. And if you have heard through New Age, there was this place called Atlantis.
Yeah.
Very, very high knowledge, technology, everything was available. But they misused that technology.
Yeah.
And then the whole Atlantic sank. After that, it was decided that nobody should have the full knowledge. So these Sapta Rishis, 7 rishis that had the knowledge in India, they were sent out to the world. I think the stories are similar, like during Noah's Ark, the earth sank and then we had to restart. And so these Sapta Rishis were sent in different directions in the world to the Mayan culture, which you find is very similar, and then to Egypt. So at one point in time, not everybody has that complete knowledge. So they were sent in 7 directions. I think I've heard this many, many times. Yeah. So, but India was the cradle of the true spirituality. And even now, some will not come out in the open, but they have great gurus meditating in Himalayas. And they won't even appear because they're only praying for the good of the world. Yeah.
So will there be a time when that knowledge will all come back?
Of course. I mean, God takes care of everything.
Yeah.
He will take care of us. He will bring it back.
But that's interesting because that has been something in the spiritual community where we've been trying to understand the Mayan community, the Atlanteans, the Lemurians, even the Indians, the Bharat. So that's an interesting insight. So that's why I'm happy to be part of a tradition that encompasses, if you ask me from my reading, I feel like it has all the truth, but it's very fragmented. That's how I feel. It has a lot of truth, but it's fragmented and maybe I think one of the reasons why our guru is here is to bring it back.
Yes.
To just
bring
piece
it
it
back
all
and
together.
reform it.
And to reform it,
Yeah.
That's true. So that it's not corrupted.
Yeah.
It's been corrupted also.
Anything that stays for long and long gets rusted.
Mm.
And then we go on following that rusted tradition. It needs change according to
the times.
The age. Yes, times. And that's why we have this new book, the Atma Vedanta, which is a simpler version of the Vedas.
Oh my God, that book is so difficult to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh man, yeah. But it's true. We need to study and teach, because if there's anything takeaway I've gotten from this is that knowledge has been lost. I had it as Krishna said it, but I thought it was something different. It's only when you spoke and I was like, by the way, in darkness, and that is why so many things are going wrong. And what we've been doing is another thing that came to me. We've been trying to work on the symptoms of things. Broken relationships, we try to heal the symptoms of that. Mental wellness, mental health, sicknesses in hospitals, corruption, all those are symptoms of something fundamental that has been broken. And that is what we need to work on. That's what I think.
Yeah, and there is this talk of metrics, and we are stuck into this metrics, which we just don't know how to get out.
For sure.
You know? So, like, we have to learn new ways. We can. There is nothing impossible. We have so much of this sound vibration, chanting from Bij mantras. Like, the Bij mantras are from the gods. So, like, if you want to, you can do, and you can get out of that matrix. But we have to work hard. Yeah, there's all these things. Yes, grace of God will help, but also we have to work on ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last question I had forgotten was what are mantras and what are their effects? Why are mantras something that you would advise people, like you just mentioned, the beach mantras?
Yeah. So mantras are like mental mantras, and these are Bij letters from the Sanskrit language, and Sanskrit language is also again now being revived because they realize it's a high vibrational language. And so when you go on repeating these mantras or whatever, it calms your mind down, you know, and especially if you are doing it correctly with the breath work. Okay, if you are just going, you know, like just chanting mechanically, of course it won't help you much. But, and then Guruji says, when you chant a mantra, that Guru is there, the Lord is there. When, like, you know, we are supposed to chant Shri Vithala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha.
Yeah.
So you can either be God by chanting his name, and he's there. You're calling him, he's there. Yeah. So it's God himself. Guruji sometimes says, when you chant, it's God himself there with you. So, yeah. And you find yourself many times, you know, like if you are in a danger or something, you just start chanting, and then you can just look into the eyes of the person who wants to harass you, and they can't do anything. You just say, Vacha, go.
Really? Because I'm going to do that to cops. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know about the eye looking, but I've done actually that one time when, I've done it many times. Oh, interesting. But there's one time before I knew that was a thing, before we started learning that you can, there's a period our guru who used to keep everyone, there's a time we used to do darshan. Guruji gives us darshan, and I think we can talk a bit about darshan and invite people to attend. And every time people would ask him questions, they would bring problems, as is the nature of humans. And the standard answer was, do your japa. That's the rosary and chanting using the rosary. There were no 8 beads. Do your japa. And I started getting annoyed because I was like, what do you mean do your japa? Like, if I haven't paid rent, how will japa help me?
Yeah.
And I of course was in that period of my mindset where I didn't believe it. But I have been later on in circumstances where a similar thing happened, like literally, like hadn't paid rent and I was supposed to be I was being thrown out of my house, and I started chanting, and I know, and I'll never forget that the feeling I had the feeling I had was calm. I was so calm, the guy thought I was mocking him. But I wasn't flustered. I was so at peace. I was actually smiling, and I was just chanting and chanting and chanting and accepting the situation. So the point isn't that it's magically going to just, I don't know, money. No, it's the calmness. It's how we talk about responding or reacting. I could easily have reacted. The guy was expecting me to react because of the way he was treating me, but I was responding, but I was just chanting. And yes, it was sorted a bit later because, yes, I did continue chanting, and yes, I got the money. That's true. I've also had it, I've done it many times. It's now that I'm thinking about it and they're all coming back. Another time I was in a situation where the person who was in the room didn't have good energy. And what I did is I engaged my mind and I started chanting. Instead of engaging my thoughts of, oh, this person, start judging them, I just started chanting. And I promise you, they just didn't talk to me. And they just did their thing and left. And I was shocked. I guess that's the first time I noticed that japa works. Yeah, and I started now using it because I was genuinely shocked because that's not how the thing would have happened before. So yeah, japa works. Or mantras work, and the name of God genuinely works.
It's for your own good. Like say you upset me and then I just go, what's happening? You are changing your energy to that anger. But the moment you realize, no, I'm just thinking like this, that self-awareness, let me replace it with japa. Instead of thinking like, she upsetted me and all that. You can replace your energy. Because the more you think about that, the more you are going to end up hurting yourself.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, and things won't change just because. I wanted to talk about the last thing we talk about, because we can talk about our guru the whole day, 59 years later, we are still here. Darshan. What's Darshan and what happens, and why should anyone join us for Darshan or join the guru for Darshan?
Oh, Darshan, like we chant. Agyanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. So chakshur is eyes. When you look into the eyes of the Guru, he removes our darkness, he removes our thick consciousness, he removes. So every time you see the Guru and you look into his eyes, he's changing something inside you. He like whatever rays are coming out from him, whatever. Like there was one interview he said, when I'm giving darshan, I'm not myself. I'm in another dimension. That's how we can explain to human beings. And then he gives that energy to us. So like Sunday, his darshan, and you look at it, and then I kind of was feeling so light and nice. And it was at a distance, he was in India and I was watching it from Nairobi, but you just felt that, I feel so good, So the energy works.
That's true.
Yeah.
And another thing he does is he asks you to pray. Just ask for whatever you want. Of course, be sure what you're asking for is what you want. And he also says that he takes away something from you, the things, the karma that is unnecessary on your path.
He burns them.
He burns
with
it
that
for
light
you.
that he kind of...
So he removes obstacles from your spiritual path. Yeah, so that's another thing, to take darshan from him. And that one that you're talking about, I felt so interesting in my heart area, like something. So it's funny you say that you felt something, because I felt something. And it's so easy for the mind to be like, you're just making it up, but I wasn't making it up. Something opened up in my heart. So that was darshan. Anyway, we could talk forever. This is our guru. Please aspire, purpose to meet him. And this is the Gita. We showed you the Bhagavad Gita. Please read it. It's for everyone, and this version is a simplified version. But for now, thank you so much, Shubhananda Devi Dasi, for joining us.
Thank you for allowing me to talk with you.
It was amazing. So, Jai Gurudev, and see you again in the next episode. Goodbye.